Pathmark is the intelligent tool for website lead generation. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmark qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50%. Add Pathmark to your website in seconds. Let the AI do all the work. Get access to 50% more qualified leads while you keep doing marketing and sales as usual. Check us on pathmark.com. Welcome to today's episode. Let's talk about today's guest. We have Jeff Brokaw from BILDIT, CMO with them. How are you doing today, Jeff?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking. And well, Jeff, I'm sure our listeners are tuning in, wondering what BILDIT is all about. So let's kick it off with that, Jeff. In your own words, tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, so absolutely. BILDIT is a headless CMS content management system for web and mobile apps. In layman's terms, essentially, we empower marketing teams to go ahead and do app updates, promotions, sales, push notifications without the reliance on IT. Our target customers are usually larger retail brands doing about $20 million and up in revenue that don't want to have to wait on their IT teams to push out sales, promotions, and updates.
Okay, interesting. And so then that way our listeners could get a good understanding then of your company. What would you say is that key problem that you like to help your clients with?
Yeah, so our key problem is again the reliance on IT teams. So a lot of these companies, I'll throw out one of our larger clients out there, Belk, who's a $4 billion a year company that's doing retail. Before they partnered up with BILDIT, they were having to have their marketing team send out emails to their IT team saying, this is going on sale Friday to Sunday. And then at this time, we're going to send an email. So you need to do a push notification. And then at Sunday at 9 p.m., we need to remove the banner off the website and the mobile app. Obviously, the IT teams hate that. The developers don't like it. And the marketing teams don't like being constrained and having to bug them. So again, with the headless, no-code content management system, we bypass their need for simple updates like that so marketers can focus on what they do and generate more revenue.
Okay, awesome. So then is there a certain vertical segment that you guys like to go with? Or is there an ideal ICP there for BILDIT?
Yeah, so right now our core focus is, and we are expanding into a few new markets, but really our focus has been large e-commerce retailers. I know you're down in Mexico, so El Palacio, they're essentially like a Nordstrom high-end luxury retailer. They partnered with us about 7 months ago. They had no mobile apps. Since partnering with us, they've exceeded $35 million in revenue. So yeah, just large retailers. We're also starting to do some initiatives with hotels for mobile checkouts, room service, so on and so forth, just to really help the hotels generate recurring customers.
Definitely. I think that the hotels would be really nice. There's a couple of times, right, where you want something really easy to be done, right? Instead of calling, if it's just on a mobile app, that would be awesome to have for sure. Awesome. And so then how would somebody usually find out? Say I was in retail, right? How would I usually find out about BILDIT? Is there a top client acquisition channel for you guys?
Yeah, so right now I was just brought on as a CMO a little over a month ago. So BILDIT was doing no outbound marketing. It was all word of mouth. We have about 11 customers now. Over half of them are over $1 billion a year in revenue. So we were getting word of mouth that way, really testing out the product that's been in development for about 6 years now, getting it right. So we are currently raising a round of funding that will be closing in hopefully the next 3 to 4 weeks, it looks like, to really push all of our efforts toward marketing. And we'll be doing about a 50-50 split of inbound and outbound.
Okay, interesting. All right, like to hear that then. So So that way then our listeners could get a go visit you guys, then they could always check you out at BuildIt, and that's BILDIT.co, BuildIt.co. What role does a website play for client acquisition then?
I mean, a website, I think right now is it's your business card. Nobody's going to take a phone call with you. Nobody's going to even consider your company without going there and getting more product details. So I think what a lot of companies are doing really, really well, and one of our main initiatives now is getting very targeted landing pages for each vertical, each customer. You know, for example, we just talked about hotels and retail stores. So somebody from a retail store, they're going to care less what we can do for a hotel and vice versa. So I think getting that message across that really feels like you're speaking directly to that client is super important through pay-per-click ads, SEO initiatives, etc.
Awesome. All right. Great to hear that. And so that, is there any tools or tips that you would recommend to our listeners as far as some website lead generation?
I mean, right now there's a lot, you know, in almost every vertical. There's not too many I would call unique ideas out there anymore. Usually people are building and expanding upon an existing problem and solution. So, you know, what I like to do is look at the big companies. You know, for example, with us, there's Salesforce Commerce Cloud, who has spent probably hundreds of $millions in marketing. So really looking at what they've done, what's worked well for them, obviously using your SEO tools if you want to go that route. I'm a big fan of SpyFu, so I can look at historical keyword research, historical pay-per-click ads. Obviously, if they've been running the same campaign to the same landing page for 6, 12, 18 months, you know that's working. And if I see another campaign that they tested for 30 to 60 days and they shut it off, obviously that wasn't working. So again, I think there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of tools to see historical Wayback Machines, so on and so forth, and really get an outline for your specific market on what's worked for companies and what hasn't.
Okay, interesting. Thank you so much for that input for our listeners there. And let's switch gears a little bit and let's talk about you as a leader. What are some key tasks you like to focus on your day-to-day work there at BuildIt at the current moment?
So right now, as I mentioned, you know, I'm only about a month into this role, and I've been friends with the CEO for about 7 years. So it's really just outlining. You know, I'm looking at this as more of a startup, even though we are an established brand, bringing in good revenue right now. But since some marketing efforts are something new to us, it's really, again, getting the brand messaging down there. I think before we have our brand messaging intact, you can't really build upon from that. From there, it's the keyword research, like I manage, building out different verticals, landing pages. You know, my goal is in the next 6 months to have about 200 different variations of landing pages for each vertical, for each specific need, and then scale from there. You know, A/B split test, see what happens, and see what's working. You know, boost upon what's working well and cut back or completely eliminate what's not, and just constantly be evolving. I'm a big data nerd, so really looking at key metrics, looking at your analytics, your dashboards, and again, just keeping a close eye on that, because the market can change at a moment's notice. Something that worked 2 weeks ago might not work at all 2 weeks from now. So it's constantly evolving and really never ever sitting still.
Yep, I would totally agree with you, right? I think when the marketer, you know, thinks, oh, you know, we cracked it, we're doing good, you know, the next day it's going to change and it's a start all over again, right? So great to hear that from you. So how do you like to stay up to date with all the news, trends, strategies in the marketing world? Is there a preferred channel that you'd like to go with?
I mean, obviously, I've got a lot of LinkedIn. I like mastermind groups. You know, actually, shortly after this, there's a group of marketers flying into Charlotte, North Carolina, where I'm based. A couple of AI leaders, so going and having a dinner with them. I always like to network, go to different events, whether here, flying around to different ones, or day to day. Again, LinkedIn, just following appropriate thought leaders on there. And I'm always trying to read something new, even there's some great books out there that I think are pretty timeless. One that I'm rereading now is Crossing the Chasm, which I think was written, 20 plus years ago. But a lot of the stuff in there is still really, really relevant today. So yeah, just constantly learning, again, constantly talking to others.
All right, great. Thank you so much for sharing that. And well, let's jump into our next section then here, which is our rapid fire question rounds. Are you ready for them?
I am.
All right, then. First off, then, is what is the last book that you read?
Well, actually, the last one I completed was the SaaS Marketing Playbook.
All right, perfect, awesome. That was going to be the same one, but no, definitely different. Okay. Next up then is, if there would be no boundaries in technology, what would be that one thing that you want to have fixed for your role as a marketer today?
I mean, obviously, I think the future's all in AI. If I'm understanding the question correctly, so I think we've only scratched the surface with that. So if there's only one tool I could rely on, and I apologize, it cut out for about a half a second, but I think that was your question. One tool. Yeah, definitely. I think AI, that's what a lot of my initiatives are. That's also what we're building out now. We have quite a few engineers working on AI for the future. And again, since our tool is focused towards marketing, I think that's only going to evolve. And when we look back 10 years from now, we're just going to see again how we were just scratching the surface today.
All right, interesting. Like to hear that. And well, then lastly, Jeff, is if there's one repetitive task that you could automate, what would that be?
One repetitive task, I would say, I guess intro calls. I don't really know how we're going to do that until deepfake gets a little better, but I'm sure you know it as well too, kind of just repeating the same questions that you're asked on a daily basis, sometimes 5, 6, 7, it just gets kind of robotic, being on a call, doing the little 5-minute intro sessions with everybody. So I guess if there was a way that I could, get a deep fake of myself for the first 5 minutes of any introductory call, that would be really cool.
Definitely. Okay. Awesome. Great to hear that. And I do got to ask, right? I mean, you have a lot of experience already in the marketing world, Jeff, but what would be that one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were to restart your journey as a marketer today?
Yeah, I think when my career really kind of started taking off, so I've been in marketing. I founded my first marketing company when I was a teenager in 1999. The one thing I never really did was go to the in-person events that I mentioned, networking events. I started doing that here in Charlotte probably around 2012. And that's when I would say my career really took off, is just meeting people, shaking hands. Marketers are smart. It's sending spam automated emails. Didn't work then. It definitely doesn't work now. Everybody's keen to it. I still think there's nothing like a face-to-face, a handshake, and getting to know somebody. Also, growing a beard, a long beard kind of helped too, because I stand out at all these events.
Right, you get that turn look like, hey, who's that, right? So it's easy to remember, right? Oh, I'm from BILDIT. Hey, well, BILDIT, right? Awesome. Great to hear that. Thank you so much for that advice. And well, we are coming to the end of the show here, Jeff. But before we do end, I do want to give you the last word. Say someone forgets everything about the interview today. What is that one thing they should remember about BILDIT?
Yeah, I mean, I think the last thing about BILDIT would be our job is to make the reliance of marketing and IT disappear, kind of separate those core things. I think a marketer's job, as we discussed, is hard enough without having to hound somebody to make the updates you need to perform your role. We eliminate that process.
All right, awesome to hear that. And to our listeners, you can always check them out at buildit.co. To you, Jeff, thank you so much for being in today's episode. Here was presenting BILDIT. To our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm looking forward to our next episode at Pat Monk Presents. Thanks a lot, Jeff.
Thank you.